Good afternoon, everyone. We'll call the February 20th, 22nd, 2024 Diversion Authority Board meeting to order. We'll ask Don to take the roll.
Mayor Dardis. Here. Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Peterson.
I am here.
Mr. Hendrickson. Mr. Pepcorn.
Here.
Mr. Ebinger.
Here.
Mr. Strand.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mrs. Sherling.
I'm here.
Mr. Grimberg.
Here.
Mr. Olson.
Here.
Mr. Seldgevold.
I'm here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. Next
I'm
up,
here too, by the way. This is Chuck.
Thank you.
let the record show Chuck's here as well. Second item is approval of minutes from January 25th. Do I have a motion?
I so move. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next up, approval of order of the agenda with an amendment. I understand we need to remove item G under second page. Is that correct, Mayor Dardis?
Yes, sir.
Is there any other changes to the agenda?
Move approval as amended.
Second? Moved and seconded. Do we do roll call on this?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Oh, that is roll
Point of
call.
order.
Roll call.
That's a roll call one.
We'll back up and we'll do roll call.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Mr. Strand.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherling.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Olson.
Yes.
And Mr. Seldgevold.
Aye.
That is everyone.
Thank you. Under the regular agenda, then moving forward, number 5, Executive Director Report, Joel Paulson. Nothing to report?
I actually have nothing to report this
Okay.
morning.
Well, we wanted to see you take the podium at least.
Oh, you're serious?
Number 6, same stands with on the agenda, nothing to report.
Spain trip did?
Item 7, construction project updates. Welcome, Terry Williams.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing? Great to see you all. I'll be real quick too. So you have this in your packet. The diversion inlet structure, there is going to have to be a change to the design of the gate machinery. We've been kind of reporting there's been an issue with that. There'll be a design change to ensure that it has the longevity of the machinery that we had planned. So it's going to take a few months to change that design and get it installed. Wild Rice River structure, there is a delay in the construction completion. There are some things that have to be done when there's actually some good water flowing through the structure, like testing the bulkhead seals. Once we get another completion date, I'll report that out to you all. The I-29 raise, no real change there. Still working on the O&M manuals for that and turning that project over. Red River structure, it's in the drone footage today. We're going to have a pretty big year at the Red. All 3 gates should be delivered and possibly installed by December, January. The first gate should arrive here on site in March or April timeframe. I'm gonna buzz down to number 7. So reach SE2A, that still is under winter shutdown. So it's primarily an earthwork contract, and they will mobilize when it's good to start moving dirt again. Number 8, this is where we talk about all the projects we'd had out for bids. So SE1B, we had a bid opening on the 25th of January. The low bid was $13.2 million, and an award is pending on that project. SE2B, the low bid was $42.2 million. And the award is pending for that one also. And then OHB reached 43B. That bid opening was held the end of January. The low bid was $12.8 million, and that award should happen either later today or tomorrow. The rest of the projects are under design 4, 3, and 5, and you can see the award dates, projected award dates for those 3 projects. And the last item, number 9, we issued a supplemental environmental assessment for public comment on 13 February, and that's to cover It was to issue or disclose updated designs associated with the diversion channel. The public comment period closes on 15 March, and to date, we haven't received any comments, but typically they come in later towards the end of the public comment period. So with that, are there any questions? Mr. Chair?
Questions? Who was first?
Mayor.
Commissioner Pepcorn.
Oh, it might be the same question, actually. So I guess my question is, usually you have estimates for those bids. Were they pretty close,
Go
or were
ahead,
they
same
considerably higher, or can you talk a little bit about that? Thank you.
Yeah, so the three bids that we had independent government estimates. And those we can disclose those to the public, and they're posted. For all three of them, we had a nice set of bids. And these were all below the independent government estimate. All three were.
Commissioner Peterson?
Can you disclose who the award is going to go to yet, who low bidder was?
I can disclose the apparent low bidder for each. So for SE1B, that was HSG Park. And they did Drayton Dam for us. SE2B, the apparent low bidder is Zavrel. And that name should ring a bell to everybody, Zavrel and Sons. And then for OHB, the low bidder is out of Hamburg, Iowa. And the name is Hendrickson Transportation. So SE1B and OHB were all restricted to bidding by small business. And SE2B was open to large business because of the size.
Thank you.
Mayor Mahoney?
Just curious about the Tannergate issue and the inlet. Has that been corrected in the other two sites?
So we have basically the same issue with the gate machinery at all three sites, at the diversion inlet, at the Wild Rice, and the Red River structure. And it's basically the same issue. And what we're going to ask the contractor to do is switch out the drives. So there's a center motor with a drive at the center of each gate, and that drive is not producing enough, I guess, a percentage of capacity. So it needs to have a better efficiency, actually, a higher efficiency. So we'll be swapping those drives out.
Thank you.
Further questions? Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Next up is Chris.
Thank you, Chair Grimberg. Board members will talk a bit about the diversion channel and in-town work now. Quick updates, little counterintuitive. We were chatting before the meeting. We are still working on main channel excavation. However, due to the nicer weather, that actually has slowed a bit. They're finding during the middle of the day and during the heat of the day, it's actually it's warm enough that it's muddy and it's hard to keep their haul roads open. They have still been hauling overnight and into the morning on reaches 4 and 5 primarily. They have been also, the good news on the weather front is they've gotten a lot of other work done that they would have likely kicked further into the spring. They've gotten a lot of bridge work done. We did complete setting beams on the County Road 32 bridge. You'll see that in the drone footage in a second here. They also are scheduled to deliver beams for another bridge in the first full week in March. So we're making good progress on the bridge front. They're continuing to work on the Maple River Aqueduct. They're working on foundations and are able to do concrete pours through the winter here. So that's been good as well for their progress. Also, we're working on ASN, our contractors working on the Prosper subdivision rail bridge now. They're starting to drive piling out there. The railroad is also out, and they've also been able to take advantage of the nice weather. They've been laying track. You'll see some drone footage of that as well. They're now laying track at the KO for the bypass, and then we'll work to connect those two lines this summer in advance of ASN starting their bridge work there. So again, the weather's been great. It's been affecting things in a positive and negative way on both fronts, but nice progress is being made, and you'll see some nice drone footage here in a minute. Coming up, we're looking forward to having a couple more inlets start, the Rush and Lower Rush River inlets. And then as the spring goes on, we'll continue to do main channel excavation, working on the Maple River Aqueduct, Drain 14C inlet, south of 94. They're working on the control structure there, the drop structure there. That's continuing as well. And then again, as we've reported before, we'll have work on most all of the transportation features coming up through the next couple of months as they continue to do bridge work. So kind of on the design side, we've got 130 completed designs. 61 of those are utilities, 70 are general design for the project. We've also completed over 2,300 reviews of information going back and forth between us and RRVA and their contractors. So our team's been busy completing the design work as well. Anticipate we'll have the design work completed sometime around the middle of this summer, and then get more fully into construction mode. So with that, it's stand for any questions on the construction update.
Questions for Chris? Looks like we're ready for a video.
Yeah, we'll do the safety update quick, and then we'll hit the video. Commissioner Grimberg, a safety update. We had a good month. A couple of minor first aid incidents, a couple of minor vehicle incidents, but nothing major. No recordable incidences here in January. So we had a good safety month. So I don't know. Hope if there's any questions, I can answer those. But I think we've been making nice progress, continuing to do our normal safety work on all fronts of the project. So now we're ready for the video.
It's been anything but a typical winter in the Red River Valley. I'm Tom Fuchs, the Senior Construction Manager with the Metro Flood Diversion Authority, with an update on how the warmer than average weather has been impacting construction on the FM Area Diversion Project. Although main channel excavation has slowed due to incredibly muddy conditions, numerous crossings and structures for the stormwater diversion channel are under various stages of construction. At County Road 32, ASN Constructors is installing bridge girders atop the completed concrete substructure elements. This marks the first of many girders to be installed at the channel's 19 road and railroad crossings. At the County Road 10 crossing, which is just north of I-94, ASN Constructors completed driving piles and is now constructing concrete abutments and piers making up the bridge's substructure. Similar work is also occurring at the 38th Street Bridge, which is just south of I-94. Work is also being done on the KO subdivision rail line between County Road 10 and I-94, where BNSF crews are installing shoe-fly tracks, which will serve as bypasses while the permanent crossing is being built. Further north at the Prosper subdivision rail line, trains are now running on the completed shoe-fly track, and crews have started driving piles for the permanent crossing. Concrete work also continues at the Maple River Aqueduct, where the flume and conduit structure is well underway. In the last month, ASN Constructors placed concrete for the second segment of the large footing at the structure's base. They also began placing formwork and rebar for the structure's west abutment and pier walls, which will serve to both support the structure's flume, which will convey Maple River flows above, and make up the structure's conduits, which will convey stormwater diversion channel flows below. They are also driving piles for the structure's adjacent wing walls. Over at the Red River control structure, work has continued as well, and crews completed yet another concrete placement at the structure's west pier. Curious as to what makes earthwork unique and at times more challenging in the Red River Valley? Just dig into some of our YouTube videos on soil.
Amy?
Good afternoon, board members. I just have a brief communications update today. We continue to, of course, work to educate and inform the community. We released a video with Adam Cheney, who is the equipment manager with ASN. Really good, talking about all the money that's been spent locally by them. We also did a few short form updates on some of the different project pieces and some fast facts, and are continuing to make use of past videos by pulling clips that we can repurpose. We also provided a thought leadership piece on the National Climate Assessment Report, and basically what we're doing is already what they're recommending nationally in terms of upcoming climate. So it gave us a good opportunity to show how we're really being proactive here in that regard. Chris did a great interview on Prairie Pulse as well this past month. And then we received our updated metrics for all of last year in terms of media reach. So a little over 190 million people reached, more than 608 million for viewership. And when you look at the ad value equivalent, it's about $1.75 million from what was published about the Diversion project. I included the top social posts this month since that's one of our short form videos and really received a lot of attention. And then, of course, the newsletter continues to perform above industry standards. Are there any questions I might be able to answer today?
Questions? Good job. Jody, next up, lands.
So we'll start with the usual suspects up here. On the left-hand side is a map of the complete project within the channel area. Again, we have reached settlement with all property owners. We do have 2 that we're waiting to schedule closings on. On the right-hand side, you can get a little bit of understanding of where we're at in the UMA. Everything that's shaded a green color, we have acquired the necessary property rights. Everything in orange, we have filed eminent domain, and everything in blue, we are still in negotiations on those. On the next slide then, we'll go through a little bit of an update. We're at just about 95% complete within the construction footprint, increased by about 1% month over month. And in the UMA footprint, we're sitting just below 53%, again, an average of a 1% increase. On the next slide then, you can see we're just ticking it up every month over month. I know this month we still have approximately 20 parcels that we're planned on closing on. So again, next month you'll see this go up probably another 1.5%. On the next slide then, an overview of where we're at with our owner groups and the parcels. And then of course on the final slide, you're going to see our key activities. We do continue to negotiate settlement agreements for existing eminent domain cases. The Cass County Joint Water Resource District did approve the settlement negotiations for one of those property owners this morning involving 3 parcels. In the last month, our team successfully closed on 7 parcels involving 3 landowner groups. And of course, like I previously mentioned, we have about 20 parcels that are scheduled to close by the end of this month. We did send introductory letters to 37 landowners involving 56 parcels in and around the city of Christine. Last night, we had a wonderful landowner meeting down in the city of Christine. We had about 21 property owners that did attend that meeting. We're guessing that that involves 18 of those landowner groups, and we were successful in securing about 25% of the right of entries. They had very thoughtful questions. They were very good questions, a lot of good feedback. The mayor of that community did attend the meeting and was able to answer a couple of those questions. So hopeful as we continue to move forward with that. And of course, we continue to complete our farmland leases. So any questions on our update?
Commissioner Strand?
I'm just curious, if you crawl way up into the balcony and we look at the process, what are the primary objections and barriers to settlement, and what are we having to overcome? Is there some commonality to the themes that we're experiencing
Yes.
that you could share with us?
Yeah, so Commissioner Grinberg and Commissioner Strand and members of the board, really at this point, what we're trying to overcome is probably the biggest thing for us is a communication barrier. What we provide to the MCC, JPA, and the Cass County Joint is an update of where we're sitting with our eminent domain actions. And in that, then, there's a primary theme that we have one law firm in the community that is representing over 100 of the property owners and does not permit us to speak directly with the property owners. When we can't speak directly with the property owners, then we can't answer any of those questions. And so that has really become probably the single greatest hurdle we have at this point in time. Property owners represented by other law firms, we've been really successful in settling those cases to date. We still have a few that are outstanding. It's not like we've settled all of them, but I'd say we've settled about 95% of the other remaining. And so just ensuring that we have that open line of communication so we can answer the small questions and the big questions, and have the opportunity to sit down and mediate. I know we've proposed, I'm guessing, about 40 different dates to sit down with a professional mediator to come in the room, and none of those dates have been accepted. And so again, when you get to that point, then what we're looking at is we might get to the point where we end up in the courtroom on some of these. And so we're still hopeful that we'll get to the point where we can sit down with the property owners and their legal counsel and have those conversations. But right now, that's probably our single biggest hurdle.
Carry on. 9B through F.
Yes, so I'm going to start with item B, and I think we'll take each one of these individually and vote on them. So the first one is OIN 837. This is 1.66 acres. It's valued at $4,500 per acre. So the suggested sale price is $7,500. This was a rural residential site. Our team has gone in and they have successfully mitigated this property. In order for this to go back into production to tillable land, it will require some additional work from the property owner who purchases it. So that's why you see the reduced value rate at $4,500 versus the going rate, which is somewhere between about $65,000 and $107,000 for an encumbered parcel. So the land within the upstream mitigation area that already has a flowage easement sitting on top of it, if it's tillable land, is valued around $6,500 to $7,000 per acre. But because there's going to be additional work that's required by whoever purchases this land, the recommendation is to pull that value down a little bit to kind of accommodate some of the work that'll be needed. This is, I should also mention, this parcel is currently on a mowing and weeding contract, so we do pay to have it maintained. And then every 2 weeks, we have one of our staff members go down and look at it just to make sure nobody's dumping tires or refrigerators, or, you know, on some other sites, we've had some party sites with sofas and beer cans. And so we want to make sure that the property that we're managing is staying pristine. And so by pushing this into the excess lands policy and getting it through that sale policy, it actually kind of takes it off our liability as well, and then again can go back into some tillable acreage. So certainly is my recommendation to approve.
Questions or motion?
Move to approve.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll have Don take the roll.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney,
Aye.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson,
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn,
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger,
Yes.
Mr. Strand,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Sherling,
Yes.
Mr. Grinberg,
Aye.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Selzerwald.
Aye.
That is everyone.
9C.
Okay, so the next one is OIN 839. This is 2.28 acres. Again, this is valued at $4,500 an acre for the reasons I just spoke to you about. So the suggested sale price is $10,500. Again, this has been mitigated by our team. There's no more structures out there, and we are prepared to sell it so that can go back into some tillable acreage.
Questions? Commissioner Strand?
Just to help me remember, is it that the first option purchasing goes to who the original owners were?
Thank you. That's a very good question. Because I stare at it every day, so it's in my head. So I appreciate you asking the question. The excess lands policy requires that first it goes out to the member entities. So any member entity has 30 days to respond that they're interested in this and they would like to purchase it at the recommended rate. If we don't receive a response, then it goes to the previous property owner. They will have the opportunity to purchase it then. They also have 30 days to respond. If they're not interested, it goes to the neighboring property owners. That's where I actually expect this parcel to be picked up. And if they're not interested, then it goes up for public sale. And so we haven't actually had a parcel make it to public sale to date. The excess lands that the board has previously approved, we've always had a previous property owner or a neighboring property owner purchase it. So that's the cadence of preferential sales.
Move approval.
Or second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the roll on 9C.
Mayor Dardis,
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney,
Aye.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson,
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn,
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger,
Aye.
Mr. Strand,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Sherling,
Yes.
Mr. Grinberg,
Aye.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Selzerwald.
Yes.
That is everyone.
9D.
Okay, the next one is OIN 2185. This is 2.44 acres. Again, this is going to go for $4,500 an acre for all the reasons previously stated. So recommended sale price at $10,500. This is just next door to the parcel you just approved. And again, we do anticipate that a neighboring property owner will purchase this. I have actually received a separate email of someone interested in purchasing both these parcels. So if the neighboring property owner is not interested in, I do believe this will sell at the public sale.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the roll.
Mayor Dardis,
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney,
Aye.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson,
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn,
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger,
Aye.
Mr. Strand?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherling?
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Mr. Selgevold?
Aye.
Is everyone?
9E.
Okay. The next one, 0.49 acres. Again, recommended sale price is $4,500 per acre. So sale price would be $2,000 in total. This is a little bit of a unique parcel. It's actually not on a mowing and weeding contract because it's primarily forested area. If that neighboring, and it is the same as the previous property owner, is not interested in acquiring this, I'm not sure that it will sell because there's going to be an access issue. So anybody who purchased this would need to be able to get an access easement from that prior property owner, and or the same as the neighboring property owner to access it. So again, if he's not interested in purchasing this, it may be something that we will hold on and we'll continue to go out there and inspect and make sure it doesn't turn into something we don't want it to be. So,
Commissioner Strand?
I'm curious what our criteria are for limits or expectations on future redevelopment on these properties. Do we spell out and limit what people can do, or to what degree?
So that, again, that's a very good question. So the ones that we previously have approved are all within the upstream mitigation area. They're also all within the flowage easement zone 1. So no structures can be built. So there's no development allowed on those properties. This particular one is on the dry side. If you scroll down a little bit more, Paul, it's hard to see where that little red square is at. So this is right along that Southern Embankment 1, so that reach 1, and it is on the dry side. Now, the size of it's going to make it a little bit difficult and access to it for development purposes, but we will have some coming up in this next one we'll talk about. It has some development potential, but this one in particular might be a little bit more challenging to develop just because of the access issue. But the previous ones cannot be developed. Did I answer your question? Okay.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Moved by Mr. Olson,
Second.
moved by Mayor Mahoney. Questions? Hearing none, we'll take the roll on 9E.
Mayor Darden?
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney?
Aye.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson?
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn?
Aye.
Mr. Edminger?
Aye.
Mr. Strand?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherling?
Yes.
Mr. Grinberg?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Mr. Selgevold?
Aye.
Is everyone?
9F.
Okay, last one. So this is 9.13 acres. This is on the unprotected side, so it's going to be on the west side of the diversion channel. These are two parcels where the previous property owner had asked that we purchase the entire parcel, so that spans both the west and then the middle of the channel and then on the east side. This remnant parcel was requested by Southeast Cass. They're looking to relocate some of their sediment piles that they have on the dry side, so on the east side of the channel, over to the west side of the channel. We've been working with them for a couple months to identify a couple of parcels that would work for them and they'd have adequate access to. So in this instance, we are recommending that we sell it back to Cass County Joint Board. It's a little bit of a nuance because Cass County Joint Board already owns it, but they own it through payments received by the MFDA. So they would refund that money to the MFDA and then they can sell it over to Cass County Joint per our excess lands policy in section 1.2 that permits any member entity that does acquire comprehensive project property with written approval from the MFDA board can sell that property to someone else. And so this action's a little bit different where we're asking for the permission to deem this excess. We're also asking for permission for Cass County Joint to go ahead and sell this to Southeast Cass for their needs in the future. We have verified the access on this. This would go again to the member entities. The previous property owner would not have the opportunity to purchase one back. This has some limited development on it just because it's going to be in the floodplain. So I open to any other questions, and I know Mr. Olson's here as well to help answer any questions.
Questions or a motion? Commissioner Peterson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Quick math says we're selling it back for the same price, right? Just to push.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Motion to approve. Oh, sorry.
Second.
No, Commissioner Strand, is that a motion?
No, it's a question. As we move forward and as we, in the future, people evolve, if there will be one, any sort of recreational components to this project, Will we later on look at any of these parcels and wish we'd held on to them, just in case there could be an applicable or available or accessible spot that might fit into some of those visions versus not?
So, Commissioner Strand, a good question. You know, in the ones that we've previously approved, probably not, right? Because they're in the upstream mitigation area and there's some limited development on it. What I am holding off to the side, I know that the Cass County is looking at a potential bypass project, and that's going to be north of I-94, and waiting for those conversations to come to fruition. We are not bringing those forward, recommending them for access. So those, when I know of a potential project that may happen on a parcel, instead of bringing it forward, I hold it off to the side and just kind of wait for those conversations to develop and mature a little bit more, so I understand the intention, and or a member entity will have a better idea if they would be interested in exercising their option under the excess land. So on this particular one, perhaps in the future, my understanding of the recreational options that have been discussed, and again, there's people behind me who have been much more involved in those conversations, that those would really happen within the footprint of the channel, and this is outside that footprint of the channel. So hopefully it wouldn't be disruptive to any of those plans.
I heard a second, I didn't hear a first. Was that Commissioner Peterson?
I made a
Moved and
motion.
Seconded.
Motion. Second, Mayor Dardis.
Discussion, further discussion? Commissioner Strand, you okay?
Okay.
We'll take the roll.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Edminger.
Aye.
Mr. Strand.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Shirley.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Olson.
Yes.
Mr. Salzweedl.
Aye.
Is everyone?
Item 10, Finance, Mayor Dardis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Finance Committee met yesterday. There were $2,181,362 of bills presented. The finance report also was for our net cash position is $209,118,332. We also reviewed two memorandums of understanding and agreements, which was presented by Mr. Shockley, the Eagle Valley Evangelical Free Church, and the CAP X 2020. In addition to that, obviously, as you witnessed with lands, Mrs. Smith had lots of things that she brought forward as well. There is one other additional item that is under Finance A, and that is the City of Fargo project that is an amendment. It is on page 1 and 23 of the packet. It has a very extensive, long number. I won't read it all to you, and I will defer to the technical elements of that to Mr. Chris Bakkegaard and or Nathan, the city engineer for City of Fargo, excuse me.
Thank you, Mayor Dardis, Commissioner Grimberg, board members. City of Fargo did open a bid for one of our in-town projects within the last week. It was for lift station number 27. That's located on 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. We did only receive one bid for this project. Unfortunately, it did come in over our estimate. We've done quite a bit of analysis on the whys of that and the challenges of that site. We did an extensive review of that during the Finance Committee yesterday. I'd be happy to walk through that if you guys have questions or would like some more information. But we did boil it down to there's three main items that are leading to this overrun, and they're really all tied to the really tight site conditions we have there, related to putting the outfall pipe in, actually constructing the lift station itself on a very limited amount of real estate, and then also managing the water while we're actually building the project were the three items that led to the overrun. So as we looked at the round numbers, the engineer's estimate for this project was about $7 million. The bids came in at $8.7 million. That's about a 24% overrun. We are looking to increase our budget by not quite that much, by about 1.2 million. Most of that is because we're reducing our overall contingency that we're leaving in the project due to the fact that we have a firm bid now. So we're asking to increase our budget for the project by $1.2 million. That gets us to a total of $9.8 million now for the new project budget total. And that was recommended to be awarded to the parent low bidder of Key Contracting by the Finance Committee. So with that, I'd be happy to answer questions if you want to take a deeper dive today, but That's the high-level summary of the events of the Lift Station 27.
Questions? Mayor Dardis?
That's all I have. Thank you.
We would need a motion to
Mayor Dardis?
adjust the.
I
adjust
move
that
to
budget.
approval of $9,835,000 for the lift station as indicated on with the numbers.
Is there a second?
Second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Pepcorn. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll have Dawn take the roll.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Mr. Strand.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Sterling.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Olson.
Yes.
Mr. Salzbold.
Aye.
That's everyone.
Other business? Hearing none, before we take a motion on item 12, unless there's any course correction from legal counsel, I'm going to relinquish the chair role to Commissioner Sherling after we move the session. I do have to leave about 4:27 for a call, so that would be the plan unless there's a course correction from legal. Head shaking no. So, okay, now we'll entertain a motion as listed in item 12.
So moved.
Second.
Go into executive session.
We need to read the motion out entirely? As printed is sufficient? Okay. Don, take the roll.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Mr. Strand.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Sterling.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Olson.
Yes.
Mr. Salzbold.
Aye.
That's everyone.
All right, we will reconvene the Diversion Board of Authority meeting after our executive session. Do we need to have any further language? There is no action taken, and with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all.